If you want to reduce the stress in your life, you need to start living it proactively instead of reactively. So for many of us, life gets really, really stressful. There's so many things happening. Life just happens to you. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Of course, some things are going to happen without you even realizing or being able to prevent it. But a lot of things you can expect coming your way, and you can be proactive in seeing them through. So first off, most of us by nature are reactive. We're not going to do something until we absolutely have to. Let's take a look at what is a reactive lifestyle and see if you can relate to some of the examples I'm giving, which will help narrow it down for you, the fact that you're actually living that reactive lifestyle. For example, maybe you're driving a car that has an issue and you know it has a mechanical issue, but technically the car still drives, so you're not going to do anything about it up until something breaks and it prevents you from driving. That's when you call the tow truck and get it towed to a mechanic shop. So now you're paying for the tow truck, you're paying for the repair anyway, and then you're on your way. So being reactive really feels like you're always trying to catch up with everything. You can never stay on top because the next thing happens. And the interesting thing is there's always a select few people, and it's almost like it's a type of person where there is so many problems going on in their life and you just wonder how. Once upon a time, I hired this guy and he's a really good individual. He was good at his job. He was a really nice person, all the good stuff about him. But the only thing is, he brought so many problems with him into his own personal life. And at first, I just thought he's making excuses and he's just making stuff up. One day he would come late and it's because his tire blew out. And I thought, yeah, maybe it can happen. It's a rare situation, whatever. The next day, he doesn't even show up. What happened this time? Well, it turns out his pipes are leaking at home. And he literally has a plumber disassembling everything. And he even sends pictures. And I'm like, no way, this is all made up. But no, he's sending pictures, he has proof, and he's actually genuine. And I just think, how much worse can it get? And he assures me that the next day he's actually going to be in, everything's going to be sorted, and it's going to be fine. But no, guess what? The next day, and you guys are not going to believe this, because I didn't. It was his dog. His dog ran into a tree and broke its leg. It doesn't get more ridiculous than that. That's very unfortunate for the dog, but I just thought, no fucking way. And without even me asking, this guy's sending me pictures of him at the vet with his dog. And there are so many more examples like that. It's unbelievable, and it just keeps happening and happening. And it's not just down to one person. I thought maybe it's just the type of person who has a lot of things going on in his life at this particular moment. But no, I had another employee who was very similar. They were completely different types of people, but they always attracted problems. And I just think, how does this happen? Do you have to be extremely unlucky? And I was trying to decipher it for such a long time. And for this guy, for example, he was a newcomer to Canada, so I took him in, I gave him a job, and every day there was a new story. And it's absolutely insane. 2 days into the job, I'm calling this guy and his phone number doesn't work. So it turns out his phone service got cut off. Okay, let's figure that out. Oh, makes sense. He was just waiting for a paycheck, so now he can pay for his phone bill. All right, no problem. Next day comes along, his phone dies, and now he can't get home because he has to check his phone for a bus route. And so he's trying to find a charger to charge his phone with, but it just so happens that everybody already left. There is no charger. And now I'm stuck helping him, which is fine. I don't mind helping people. But in my mind, I'm just like, how does this happen? And basically, every other day, almost every day, there was a new story. Something would happen at his home country that really affects him. Then another day, this guy has an insane migraine, so he literally is like dying on the floor, and I have to send him home or to the hospital. But of course, he doesn't go to the hospital, it's too expensive. And so he just tries to wait it out. And day after day, it's a new problem. And it's just mind-boggling. How does it happen? And eventually I've narrowed it down. Once I've had a few employees like that, come and go, it all made sense. It's not because they are an unlucky individual. I don't believe in being that unlucky, because too many things have such a low chance of probability of happening that there's just no way they all line up. It's because they were living a reactive lifestyle, and believe it or not, it's their own fault. At first, I felt really bad for these people because their life is just unfolding and they're drawing every bad card one after another. Surely it has to pass. A month goes by. These people still have problems, new ones piling up. And once I worked with those people for a while, it made sense to me. I would tell them, hey, you should probably get this done before it catches up with you, but they choose to ignore it. And 3 weeks later, it catches up with them and they have a new problem to deal with and to react to. And what ends up happening is they get stuck in a cycle of reacting and they can never catch up. Because if I say to this guy, hey, you should probably take care of that before it catches up with you, they actually can't, because they're already taking care of something that they did a month ago or didn't do, and now they have to take care of it. And it's an infinite loop. So they're basically living life backwards or in such a reactive loop where it's impossible to catch up. And they keep on planting seeds for new problems to arise. I saw it in action. I remember one of the guys that had his phone plan canceled, or his service was stopped because he didn't pay the bill. And he said, well, I'm only getting paid in like a week or two from now, so I'll pay the bill then. But right now, obviously, I need service. And so he went, got a new SIM card with a new number, and used that temporarily. But from there, he just created a handful of new problems. Why? He ended up using the new service, and then I asked him, are you planning to keep this? And you should probably set up an account with that company, because that's how you're gonna pay the bill, even if you use it for like a month or a couple of weeks. And he's like, nah, I'll do that later. So 2-3 weeks pass. I ask him, so did you get your phone number back? No, he still didn't pay that bill. Why? Because a different bill came up that was more important. Okay, people have financial struggles, happens. But that means he's now using the new service and the new phone plan, which after a couple months, he also hasn't paid. So now he's got 2 outstanding bills for phones, both which are going to collections, which are going to damage his credit score and start this entire loop. So from one incorrect move, because he was too lazy to set up a payment, to set up an account, and then he had to take care of a different problem, it turned to this whole shit show where a couple months down the line, he was without a phone number, without any service, multiple SIM cards, bills outstanding, potential damage to his credit score. And then when it would come time to actually need his credit score for something, maybe apply for a loan, he wouldn't be able to. Much less pay for the previous phone bills, because he's now catching up and now you have to pay all these fees and all the bullshit. So you can see how it's very hard to catch up. But the point is, these people aren't unlucky. They create their own misfortune. So through watching how these people work and live, they make so many mistakes that result in a huge problem down the line. And you never want to be that way. You never want to live in a reactive manner. Being reactive creates a short-term solution and a very high stress level. That means you're always stressed out and you're always finding a quick fix for things. But if you switch to proactive, you reduce the stress and you create long-term solutions. Let's use a couple examples from earlier. Maybe you see that your car is making a new weird noise, so you should probably get that checked out. So instead of waiting months for it to break and actually break down, you just take it to the mechanic, get it repaired. You didn't have to call a tow truck, so now you didn't accumulate extra fees. You paid for the single repair instead of multiple parts being damaged as a result of not fixing things on time. And you get to walk away with a long-term solution, minimal damage to your finances, and stress-free. It really just boils down to, when you see a deadline approaching, just do it ahead of time before it becomes a problem, because you might have other things come up in the moment where you can't actually deal with the actual problem at hand, and there's more things to do. This is how you stay on top of it. And if you're in a reactive stage right now, it might be really, really hard to catch up with everything that you have going on. But as long as you start making the right moves today, you will naturally, over time, make the switch and you'll be on the proactive side. But it does take time. It takes a lot of time to catch up and then stay on top of it. But once you're on top of it, you don't want to lose that. You gain so much momentum. Everything that comes up gets done immediately. You don't have to wait for a new thing to happen, because as soon as you see something coming, it's done. You solve it. How nice would that be? Just imagine, you actually would feel like you have no problems in your life, even though nothing changed. Life is just going, things are going to happen, which you can or cannot control, but you're just going to have that much less stress and everything's going to be solved for a long term. So you decide which kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be the kind of person that uses a phone charger and waits for it to break, so then when it breaks, they immediately have to go to a gas station or nearby store and buy the shittiest quality phone charger, because we all know those things break all the time, and it's gonna also cost a lot, and they're gonna repeat the cycle every 3 months? I literally shit you not, there's so many people actually doing this. They will be stuck in a cycle of buying a new phone charger every 3 months because it's the shittiest one and it's expensive, but they can't be proactive for once and pay 3 or 4 times the price for a decent quality, and you'll never have to worry about your charger again. As soon as I get a new phone, I'm going to go online and buy a high quality charger that's thick, corded, and it's not going to break on you. It's made from good material. And I never think of my charger ever again. I'm not wasting time going to the gas station buying shitty ones. If you approach every single situation like that and prevent future problems, you're just gonna have a lot less problems. It's that simple. And finally, if you're an adult, you're a man, you probably have enough on your plate. You not only have to take care of yourself, in the future you're gonna have to take care of your family and provide for them, and you do not have the time to fuck around and be reactive to everything, because then you're just going to end up like one of those men who constantly are stressed, they're pissed off at the world, they work 24/7, and it seems like they can never catch up with anything. You don't want to be that guy. That would just be a shitty quality of life. So start on this while you're young, and every time you're making a decision, think about it. Is this a long-term fix or a short-term fix? Yeah, maybe it requires, if you're buying something, it's going to require you to put up more money up front, and maybe you just can't afford to do that right now, but figure out a way, because eventually it's actually going to be more cost effective or higher quality for the things you're getting in the long run. That's it, guys. If you like my videos, feel free to follow me. Other than that, catch you guys in the next one.